Good morning and welcome to our Advent story time. It's December 17th, and I am so glad that you could be here with us today. Our story time today is called A True Fairy Tale, and it's from Micah 5:2. You, O Bethlehem, are only a small village. Have you ever gotten lost in the pages of a fairy tale with their castles and kings? Well, once upon a time, which was actually before time began, a story began that is better than the most otherworldly fairy tale you've ever heard. God gathered his children and told them what would happen even before it happened. The Father King of the heavens and of all the universe and his Son King looked across their kingdom and saw how all the children they had made were being held captive by the dark and the sinfulness and the sickness. They knew their unconditional, unstoppable, unwrappable love had to come in and get their people. They came up with the very best rescue plan. This is what they decided. The Father King would open the backside of the world, and the Son King would unexpectedly slip right into the kingdom through a little unlikely door, Bethlehem. Remember Ruth, whose husband died? She followed Naomi back to the nobody would be expecting little Bethlehem, whose name means house of bread. Many years later, Ruth's very own great-grandson, a puny little shepherd boy named David, spent many nights lying on the hills of Bethlehem, just staring up at the sea of blinking stars. And then, long after King David, if you stacked 1 year up after another until you had a teetering tower of 1,000 long years, the Son King, Jesus, slipped into the kingdom. He was born as a baby about as small as a little loaf of bread, right there in a barn, and nobody would be expecting little Bethlehem. The moment the Son King inhaled earth air into his lungs, the blinding light of history slashed back the smothering dark, and the Son King brought joy from beyond the walls of the world. And shepherds lying out on those same Bethlehem hills saw the sky bursting with a blinding star over little Bethlehem. The Son King did not grow up in a palace or even have a pillow to lay his head on. The Son King had no throne or horse. He was a carpenter with a hammer, and he wandered the countryside fixing broken down bodies and broken up hearts, and breaking little loaves of bread to feed the huge crowds of hungry people. And then the Son King let the very children he'd made and loved slap him and whip him and nail his loving hands to the cross. And all evil and badness across the universe laughed as if they'd won. Then they wrapped the Son King's limp body, dead body, in rags and forgot him in a grave. But then, when no one was expecting anything from another world at all, the Son King jolted right up in the grave, alive. And the light forever shattered the darkness. The king flung off the rotting grave clothes and he rose, his perfect heart beating hope loud in his chest. Monster stones rolled, and the Son King walked right out of that grave, his heels crushing the snake-like head of all the evil. And all the king's children in the whole universe were wooed and wowed back to life again. It's coming. The kingdom's coming in a little and small and unexpected ways. And the king is coming to rule the earth and make all sad things untrue and make all bad things come undone. When we love in little ways and big ways, unexpected things begin to happen. In little places, through unexpected people, the story is unfolding and unwrapping all around you and in you. The light overtaking the dark, and it's like you can see the new kingdom bursting in right now. how all the lit up trees and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. This story that is happening is better than the greatest fairy tale ever told, because it is all true. I hope today, as you go about your day, December 17th, that you will think about all the little ways you can spread the love of Jesus. And God will take those little things that you do and turn them into big things. Have a wonderful December 17th.